Alright guys, I just wanted to make a quick little video. I had someone ask me about, I think they're referring to the Sunjoe SPX 9004. They were saying they either had it or were interested in it. I think they were interested in it and were wanting to know if they could hook up a 25-gallon water tank to it. But then they mentioned that they called Sunjoe, and Sunjoe said they needed a minimum of 40 psi, no more than 50. And so what I recommend is this right here. Now this is it's a C-flow pump, but as you can see, it's mounted to this tank, and the tank is a pretty big, it's a pretty important role, I've come to figure out. And so that tank has a bladder inside of it, kind of like a balloon, and so the pump pumps water in there, and then it constantly, there's always pressure on the line going to your pump or whatever. And so you're never having to worry about starving the pump for water or cavitation. And so a big benefit to this pump is that you can actually adjust the pressure on it as far as when it kicks in and when it cuts out. So if the max is 50 psi to this, which I guess you know, I didn't know that. I've been running like 55 to it, I think is what I have this set at, so I need to dial it down a little bit. But that's the thing, is with this pump you can do it. There's a lot of pumps that aren't adjustable, so in that case you would just have to get one that's, you know, less than 50 psi, and they do have ones out there. And you know, this thing only requires 2 gallon a minute. This thing puts out 4 gallon a minute, but you know, the main thing, and I got this off of Amazon, and I think it was under $200, but I highly recommend this. And not just for the Sunjoe, for anything, any pressure washer that's 4 gallon a minute or less. And like I said, I also run a hose pipe off this. I hook a regular hose pipe up to it sometimes, a lot of times actually, and it, you know, it works just like you got it hooked up to your spigot at your house. So I really like this thing. And so it runs off a 12-volt battery, and you know, if you have one just laying around, you know, an old car battery or something, a regular battery, then, you know, if you're trying to save money, then you can use it, it'll work. But if you're gonna buy a battery, you need to get a deep cycle battery. It's called a deep cycle battery, and it's actually designed, this is a marine battery, and so it's actually designed to be able to drain it down, whereas, you know, car batteries are designed to constantly be charged and topped off. And which, speaking of, I do have a charger in that box. Let me put this back on here. Sorry. So I do have a charger that, and if you need a charger, I recommend this charger. I got this from Harbor Freight, and for the money you can't beat it. As you can see, it says 2 amp, 8 amp, or 15 amp. Usually you want to keep it on 8 amp while you're running the pump, and then 2 amp is a trickle charge just to keep the battery topped off. But you know, if you don't have a generator, then what you want to do is plug your charger up to your battery every day, every night when you get home, and that way it'll be charged up for the next day. And so there you go. Just wanted my battery's about to die, so I'll go ahead and cut this off. But that's how I do it. That's how I recommend a lot of people do it, unless you have one of these big long stroke pumps, which are usually, well, always belt driven or gear driven, like the ones we use for doing house washing. Those create their own suction, but these pumps do not. So you need something feeding it, and I think for the money, this is one of the best options out there. Comes with the little filter right here. It's just a good setup. It's a good setup. So You just get you some adapters to get it to go to your hose pipe fittings, which I've got quick connects on there. But as you can see, you just get you some adapters. You can get them at Ace Hardware, and you're good to go. So I hope that helped somebody. And till the next one, guys, y'all either be good at it. It's cold out here. It's about 20 something degrees here north of Nashville. Actually, I think it's 120 degrees. So oh, by the way, as always, guys, y'all